All right, guys, how we doing? Welcome back. So I just wanted to kind of address kind of like your feelings after after the dust is settled. I guess Stanley Cup's been awarded. Congratulations again to Tampa. Um, and now that your immediate thoughts, reactions, or whatever are over with, you've had time to think about it. I just wanted to kind of discuss a little bit of like some of the changes that I think are going to come without a doubt. And just real quick, after digesting everything, I don't necessarily want to see DeBoer go. I think he's a good coach, man. He has brought out a lot in these players. Like this isn't a team with a superstar on it, and they do play a very good team game. It really does feel like there's a lot of chemistry there. And so it's hard not to question him after getting bounced in the same way 2 years in a row. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna give him another chance. I did say that I think a lot of the loss is on coaching, and I do still believe that. Anytime you lose 2 times in a row, there is something at fault there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is up to the players, to score the goals. Like, Pacioretty in Game 6, right before they lost, he had a chance, point blank. Him and Carey Price, he had a chance to win it, and he didn't, How different is everything had he scored right there? You know what I mean? I just wanted to kind of get that off my chest. Like it's hard. It's hard to accept. I do think no matter what, Tampa was winning this, so that does give me a little bit of solace in everything. That doesn't matter if we did win, because we still would have lost to Tampa. I mean, they were an absolute juggernaut. And again, congrats to them. So I'm just going to get into real quick some of the changes that I think are coming, and that means somebody is going to have to go. The Knights can, get rid of a couple players as is, and I'll get into a bigger deep dive of like their salary cap, and where I think they're going to go, what they could do. But, after this season, just the glaring issues is that goalie situation, man. It's tough to have 2 goalies. At any given point, they had $5 million on the bench in goal. One of them is gone. There's just no way that they can add. So at the moment, right now, they're a couple contracts short, but they have $6 million in cap space, right? So that is Nosek. That is Martinez, who arguably was their MVP this year. Those 2 are gone, and I forget who else. I can't really remember. It's somebody small, though. I think somebody that didn't really play. Anyways, so they have $6 million at the moment, right? And that means they need to bring up, I think, a couple forwards. But what do, right? I think, and as much as I hate to say it, as much as I love Fleury, he's got to go. He's about to win the Vezina. I mean, how crazy is it saying that? But this is what winning does to you. Like, this is what a cap does, and it sucks. It really does. So the only way they free up anything to do anything, right, is Fleury's got to go. That's just the only way. The defense was a great unit, but they need to add a center, a number 1 center, right? And Robin Lehner, Panda, love you, dude. He showed he can handle it, right? Even after that Game 1 loss to Colorado, he came in and he saved their season in Game 4 of this series. Cannot put Game 6 on him whatsoever, right? And so the only way they do anything is they have to get rid of Fleury. That's $7 million. He probably is going to win the Vezina this year. I mean, do you think he has value? Would a team like Colorado or Carolina take a swing on a year of Fleury? You know what I mean? This is a Vezina winner, and you can argue that is goaltending is what cost both those teams. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to catch a GM who is going to say, fuck it. And yeah, you know what? It's 1 year of Marc-Andre Fleury after he won the Vezina. You know what I mean? I think a team is seriously going to be interested and could really help Vegas. Montreal has $14 million, I think it is, tied up in the cap, but there's never a question about who is playing in net. That's one less thing for the head coach to think about. And Pete DeBoer kind of hinted at it, that he, that was the 2 goalies was necessary this year for a pandemic, shortened season, a condensed schedule, but is it going to be necessary going forward? I think Pete DeBoer hinted that that's not going to be the case. So, okay, pay attention to this question and what Pete DeBoer says.
Hi, Pete. With regard to the goalie, obviously the tandem worked out really well over the 56 games, and you won the Jennings Trophy. Going forward, though, for an 82-game season, if you are expecting that, are you advocating for both guys to come back, or does that just have you guys flying too close to the sun, I guess, with regard to the salary cap, and you're just not going to be able to make that work from a coaching standpoint?
The salary cap and that maneuvering is above my pay grade. That's for Kelly and George to figure out. I can tell you, it was obviously an integral part of our success this year in the unique year we were in with the condensed schedule and the number of games and everything that went on. It was obviously a blessing this year. Next year's a different story. We're not in those unique circumstances anymore.
Oof. If that doesn't say one goalie's gone, I don't know what does.
Whichever who goes, that's going to free up quite a bit of cap space for the Knights to do something. And as it sits right now, they got $6 million. So they get rid of a goalie. That fits in Eichel right there. We know that they need to re-sign Alec Martinez. I think that is going to be priority number 2 besides the number 1 center. And then you look at who Vegas can get rid of.
Coaching point of view and personnel point of view, make yourself better. Decide on the guys you can win with and the guys you can move on from.
Oh, hear that. Decide who you can win with and decide who you can move on from. I mean, want to talk about changes coming, that's not a sign. I don't know what is.
Riley Smith, as much as I love him, and last year he was a 54-point player. He got 27 goals and 27 assists. Had a down year this year, and is that somebody, he has a $5 million cap hit. Is that somebody that Vegas moves on from? Do you finally bump Tuck up to that role? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that could go on with this team, but I think we can all agree that some changes need to be made. We're seeing what happens when you kind of just run it back, and I think they need playoff performers. Who is that going to be? Who's out there that's maybe on the trade block that we don't quite know about yet? There's obviously the big fish is Eichel. People know about that, but are there some other candidates that are flying under the radar? Who knows? But I think it's definitely the 1C that they're going to address. Alec Martinez. Unless, I don't know, I think it's a huge mistake. I don't care if he's 33. Like, that dude he's such a good player. That is a warrior right there. I don't think you can just let a dude like that walk. And as much as it would pain me, I do not want to see Alec Martinez go. But, in all respect to him, if he gets paid, he more than well deserves it. I mean, the report just came out. He played the entire playoffs on a broken foot. Like, that is a dude who anybody would be lucky to have on their team. You know what I mean? And if he goes, full credit to him. I appreciated every single minute he was with this team and the things he did for us, and he deserves 100% to get paid. So, I mean, they're left with a tough situation, and I think fans are going to be upset because a key player or two are going to go, and it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. We'll see what the Knights do. They got quite a lot on their plate. A lot to deal with, and the McManagers are going to be busy this offseason, shortened offseason at that. So, July is going to be a hell of a month when it comes to hockey. The entry draft it is. We got free agency a little bit later. We got the expansion draft, and they're exempt from the expansion draft. They don't have to worry about losing a player. So do they talk to teams? Hey, you're going to lose this guy for nothing. Do you, how creative can Vegas get to maybe act as a funnel, or act as kind of like the middleman, be the middleman between two teams. Let's say they take on a player and then just flip him, you know what I mean? So the expansion draft is going to make it quite interesting. I'll do a little bit deeper of a dive in that a little bit later, but it's crazy to see how the season ended, and ultimately what is ownership, because we know Bill Foley loves Marc-Andre Fleury, wants him to retire as a Golden Knight. It's like, what are they gonna do? This is not something that they can just stand pat. Bill Foley, he wanted a Stanley Cup yesterday. You know what I mean? So that whole cup in or playoffs in 3, cup in 6, it's, you know, it's starting to run its course. You know, doesn't time fly? Like I've gone through, it's tough, man. It's tough to see this team get your hopes up so high and then just shit the bed like that. I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful for like what they've done, but you know, I am. But it does, winning comes with its lows unless you win it all. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to cope with losing Suzuki. It's hard to cope with, you know, just what they've given up, what they've done to try to win now and then come up short. It's, you know, it's hard to see them beat the number 1 team in the league only to get kind of embarrassed by the 18th. You know what I mean? Like, what is this all for if we're just losing to the 18th overall team in the league? You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't think it's all on coaching. Is it karma for letting Turk go? Who knows, man? Like, I don't know. It's hockey gods, whatever. It's tough. It's tough. So it's a very bitter end to the season of what was, man. They were the only team to hit 40 wins. I mean, they showed a lot this year. I don't know. We'll see it. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all take care, okay?